നമസ്കാരം. ഇന്ത്യ ലോകകപ്പ് ജയിച്ചിട്ട് 40 കൊല്ലം പൂർത്തിയാവുകയാണ്. ലോകകപ്പിലേക്കുള്ള ഇന്ത്യയുടെ ജയത്തിൻ്റെ വഴിയിലെ ഒരു നാഴികക്കല്ലായിരുന്നു, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ടേണിംഗ് പോയിൻ്റായിരുന്നു സെമി ഫൈനലിൽ ഇയാൻ ബോത്താമിൻ്റെ വിക്കറ്റ്. ആ വിക്കറ്റ് നേടിയത് കീർത്തി ആസാദ്. നമ്മളെല്ലാവരും വളരെ ആദരവോടെ കാണുന്ന കീർത്തി ആസാദ് ഇപ്പോൾ മാതൃഭൂമി ന്യൂസിനൊപ്പം ചേരുകയാണ്. വെൽക്കം ടു ദ ടോക്ക് ഷോ, സർ.
താങ്ക് യു. നമസ്കാരം.
So you played 3 matches in the 1983 World Cup. You took 1 wicket. But that 1 wicket in the semi-final was of Ian Botham, the great all-rounder. What was the match situation then, and what was the ball like?
Well, first of all, I'd like to say sorry to Mathrubhumi because I was supposed to come a few months ago and I got ill, unwell, and hence I couldn't come to attend the function that was organized. But I promise I'll come next year, subject to if I don't get unwell again. Well, talking about the situation, England was going great guns at that time. Nowadays, an average of 5 or 6 or 7 is supposed to be chaseable. But during our times, it used to be 60 over game. Every bowler would bowl 12 overs each, so there was a limit on 5 bowlers, maximum of 12. And England were going great guns at 96 for 2 in about 20 overs or 22 overs. So, it was a time when Jimmy started bowling from one end, Mohindra Manath, and I was given the ball from the other end. We still have a record of bowling 24 overs in tandem. He bowled 12 overs and I bowled 12 overs without a break. So, that's the biggest spell by 2 bowlers bowling in tandem for 24 overs. So, we came into ball. The wicket was very slow and low. So, stroke play was not that easy. But since we had our medium pacers who were bowling and the ball was coming onto the bat, so they were managing to get those runs quite easily. Till Jimmy came, who comes slowly, trundles and bowls in cutters and out cutters, in swing and out swing, and it's times it doesn't come onto the bat really well. So I saw that over of his, the first one, where he came trundle and batsman had some trouble connecting. Because if the ball doesn't come onto the bat, it's difficult to make strokes unless it's a half volley or somebody gives you a donkey drop or pitches halfway down the track. So I had decided that I'll bowl slow. So what happens is when I bowl slow on a slow track, the ball will still slow down and not come onto the bat to really hit. So I said, let's start with that. We had 6 fielders on the on. There was no restriction, 3 on the off. So I picked up my middle and leg line and started bowling slow. So the batsman started having problem. So Alan Lamb trying to force the pace, he swept me for a boundary. I bowled 12 overs for 27 runs and got a wicket. Swept me for a boundary. So, and then I again blocked him, didn't let him score runs. So in frustration, he swept one, went to Yashpal, ran for a single, was run out. And in came Botham. Now, Botham was one of the greatest all-rounders and hated by Indians. And we had a lot of Indians there. So once he came in, they thought, this guy is an off-spinner, I hope he doesn't clobber him, or, Kirtizad doesn't get clobbered by Botham. So what I did was I still started bowling slower. Because he was one guy who could hit you. So obviously you also know the reputation of a player, and I'm unknown to him because I have not played that much. So he can be overconfident, thinking, ye to bacha hai, hit him across the line or whatever. He tried reverse sweep, he tried driving, couldn't do it. He tried playing on the onside with the spin, couldn't manage. Ultimately he got frustrated. It was slightly short. And it was really slow. It kept very low. It hit the base about 2 inches above the base of the stump, and he was bowled. So everybody came up to me and said, wow. Kapil came up to me and said, Kirti, I don't understand. The ball will either spin or keep low. How did both happen? I said, it's my trade secret, I won't tell you. Till date, I'm telling my Mathrubhumi people, keep quiet, don't let anybody know. I myself don't know. It's over. It's going to be 40 years on 25th of June when we would have completed our victory of 83. I don't know how it happened, but it happened. And thankfully, it didn't go lower. Right. Otherwise, it would have caught the London Underground. You know,
Right.
so that is it. This is how I got it. But it was, we never thought we would even reach the semi-finals. Kapil was one man who always felt that we can do it. The greatest all-rounder, I consider him, because you had Richard Hadley, you had a Botham, you had a Dennis Lilly, you had an Imran Khan. They all had good, fast tracks in their country. So 50% of the matches you were playing in your country. In New Zealand, the ball moves around. There's a lot of damp there. In Australia, it's good hard wickets for Lilly. Same thing again in England, where the ball moves around. And Pakistan used to make real good, hot, solid wickets for Imran and for Sarfaraz Nawaz, who were great bowlers. And Kapil was playing here on dead and docile wickets, you know, dead as a dodo. Ball wouldn't come, and this guy gets the 434 wickets. Beats Richard Hadley. So I consider him, and that guy was one man who from the beginning who thought that we can win it, we can reach the semi-finals. He was carrying a small champagne bottle. He doesn't drink, so I used to tease him, yaar, de yaar, kya rakha hua hai? Give it to me, yaar. Let Sandeep and me and Roger share it. He wouldn't, he was very possessive about it. And ultimately, we never expected to win. We didn't have champagne bottles. We didn't have anything. And so he picked that bottle out and he says, Dekh, rakha tha na, for this occasion. So after that, we went to the West Indies dressing room. They were chilled, absolutely ready. Those big magnums, and he brought it out, and we took a bath in champagne, you know, real good time.
Yeah, I remember Kapil Dev saying in that film that bottles of champagne were opened that night.
Yeah.
No one knew who paid the bills.
Oh, really? To be very honest, we used to get 10 or 12 pounds. And we had to do everything in that. We had to do our laundry, we had to food, we had traveling or whatever. So 12 pounds was what we got. So obviously that evening when the champagne was flowing and drinks were flowing, so we just didn't know who's going to pay because we didn't have the money. It was last day, we had done our shopping, bought our jeans or whatever, one or two that we could. And then after a couple of drinks, got a little high, said, forget it, whosoever is going to pay, we'll see what happens. If we have to go clean utensils, we'll do that. But just enjoy yourself. So we enjoyed ourselves. We don't know till date who paid for it.
Is it true that when the spectators invaded the pitch, someone put a 50 pound in your pocket?
It was not only a 50 pound. I don't know why did a movie show showed only 50 pounds. I had about 250 pounds. Somebody gave me a 50 pound.
Oh my God.
Somebody gave me a 5 pound, a 10 pound, a 1 pound note, 2 pound note. Like that, I had plenty of money. So they showed 50, fair enough. I'm perfectly fine. At least income tax won't come after me.
And so in the finals, you didn't score much, but you did an economic spell. 3 overs, conceding just 7 runs.
You know, Dujon was left before to me. But those days, we didn't have DRS and the people wouldn't give you out on the front foot. Otherwise, I had Dujon on my very first over, leg before of the third ball. And Dickie Bird didn't give him out.
Achha, okay. What did the captain tell you when he handed you the ball? Caps.
Well, Kapil had that confidence in his side. And he's a very instinctive captain. Some people go with a plan, you know, what we got to do, whether like Sunil Gavaskar. I played under both, and both are different. And Kapil is more an instinct. I mean, he wanted to change Madan Lal because he was hit for 3 boundaries. But Madan came and asked for him, asked for the ball. So he would believe in you. He would believe in you, and his instinct would tell yes. Because that guy, even when he plays golf, he's 0 handicap. He's brilliant in anything that he does. So his instincts are very good. So he just came and said, yeah, normal dal. Bowl normally. They're only 5 wickets down. You just bowl normally. If they try and hit you or whatever, even if you get hit for a 4, don't worry. You just bowl normally. So I came. Again, the first half it was green and it was slightly moist, but later on, because of the heavy, hard sun, that was a very good summer, the wicket had again dulled. So I started again, got same trick that I did at Old Trafford, Manchester. I did at Lord's. Started bowling slow. And I'm sure I had Dujon. If somebody could do that, I'm sure we'll find that Dujon was leg before to me.
Do you remember the finer details of the Andy Roberts ball that ousted you in the finals? Because you might have read the ball very clearly.
He bowled, to me I remember, it was a short one. I went back, hooked, and there was Garner, that tall man, big bird,
Yeah.
and he just plucked it off the air, and I was out. So I think Roger got out the same way, except for Chika, who opened and scored a good 38. And I think Sandeep got some runs. Nobody else did. You had a Balwinder Sandhu and a Kirmani doing in the last wicket those 20-30 runs, which was very useful for us.
Correct.
But I remember it very well how I got out.
Yeah, at one point in the finals, did you feel that India will win the World Cup? Somewhere down the line.
We were all out for 183. We had reached that position. And Kapil was there in the dressing room and he said, boys, we made 183. They have to make 183. So, make every run count. And do your best. Once you do your best, you enjoy. That is an enjoyment. Winning and losing we'll see later. Let's do our best to defend 183. We did. And there we went. And then Greenwich shouldering arms getting out to Sandhu. Clive Lloyd came much later. Then we had Desmond Haynes getting out. Logie, Richards, that brilliant catch by Kapil. Fabulous. I think if anybody else was there, he wouldn't have taken it. And I'll tell you, Kapil Dev is one person who would play in any team in the world as a batsman or as a bowler or as a fielder. Such a brilliant fielder he is. So that catch he took, that changed. And then we put the brakes slow. We said slow it down because these guys are all stroke makers. And once they are stroke makers, you've got to stop them making strokes. So start bowling slower. I mean, that was my thing. But everybody bowled to a very good line and length. And throughout the season, our seamers picked up wickets. Like Roger Binney was the highest wicket taker. Then you had Madan Lal who had picked up wickets. Balwinder Sandhu in the finals. Kapil had bowled very consistently. Jimmy had bowled very consistently. I was given an opportunity in the semi-finals, finals. I bowled that. So his instincts from the beginning till the end were right. And that's it.
Which was a turning point in that match, in the finals?
You can't say turning point. You see, turning points are something which people might just talk about saying ki turning point. But I would say that the way Richards was batting, he would have finished the game in the next 1.5 hours. So that catch was the most important part of the game. Because every wicket that went was a turning point. But when you say the most important part of that game was Viv Richards getting out to that catch by Kapil Dev.
You are the most economical bowler in the 1983 World Cup.
Yeah.
It was average 2.47.
Correct.
So, even though you had just one wicket, Marshall comes seconds. So, looking back, what is your take on that?
I didn't get much opportunity to get hit. I only bowled those 15 overs.
Yes.
So it was economical. Maybe if I had bowled 30, I might have been 6 or 7 or 8. Because what happens is, the lesser you bowl, it's either good or it's very good or it's really bad.
Correct.
So I was lucky that I got the conditions to my liking. I bowled according to what the pitch was like. And bowling slow and not letting the batsman hit was something you as a bowler, as a professional, should know. So I bowled only 15 overs.
Correct.
So I think I think I bowled a few overs against Australia too. They were also economical. The one that we had to qualify to get into the semi-final, the second game, which we won. I scored 29 there, and I think I bowled there. So for my bowling, I was lucky that I got slow and low pitch, where I could bowl slower being a spinner and not letting the batsman hit. So it's no great shakes. I mean, Marshall, a superb bowler. I mean, Kapil and all these guys, they bowled more, so they got hit more, they got more wickets. I just had an opportunity, I used it.
Now, what do you think the salient factor of the team that triggered India to win the World Cup?
There are quite many. It's difficult to say because that team was full of all-rounders. And world class only one, Kapil Dev. We had lots of batsmen. World class only, Sunil Gavaskar. Unfortunately, he didn't do much in it. And the salient feature was our unity, pulling each other's leg, being together, being there for each other, and enjoying, relaxing. Never the pressure. The seniors never let the pressure come onto us, because we had Sunil Gavaskar as a senior, we had Kirmani as a senior, we had a Madan Lal, the Jimmy. These four were senior players. So they never, even Kapil was junior, we contemporaries together. He got into Indian team in 78 when he was 19, and he was captaining the Indian side in 1982 and 83 World Cup. So he was junior, and there were 7 captains in the side. Even Dilip Vengsarkar for that matter, but he was not that senior, but he was senior. So these people never let the pressure come onto you. When things happened, we would be skeptical, not joking with them. They would joke so that you would relax. And not feel, oh, they are angry with us because we lost this game or somebody played badly or whatever. So that the camaraderie was the salient feature. You may talk of this was, that was, of Falana, but it was the unity, the oneness that it is. One for all and all for one.
You gel together very good. The bonding was good.
Beautifully. We still do. Every year we get together. We have a group, so we keep pulling each other's leg. So we just, everybody is now, we're going to be in Mumbai on 25th for the celebration. This is the 40th year. So the group is going buzzing, all throughout it buzzes.
After that, in September, I think in Delhi, Nehru Stadium, India Park. That was where you smashed 71 not out. When India was down 5 wickets, you came in at the 7th position. You had 6 fours and 4 sixes.
I think so. I
think it was Jalaluddin.
Yeah, Jalaluddin. Yeah, 5 down at 75, and then 7 down for 101. And then Madan Lal comes in, and we have 97 to score in, I think, 14 or 15 overs, which is a huge at that time, huge total. The match has been reduced from 60 overs to 50 overs.
It's your home.
So that was it. So Madan comes in and he says, Kirti, Banja aaj raaton ka raja. For you, today is the day. You hit out this pressure. You can do it. So Lord Hanumana doesn't know his own strength till he is told. The elephant doesn't know his own strength till he is told. So he told me, you do that. So I became Lord Hanuman, and I started banging. So I hit Jalaluddin for 2 sixes, and I hit Iqbal Qasim for 2 sixes. Then there was a junior Nazir. He was called Joor. I hit him for 3 or 4 boundaries. I remember I had gone mad. There are these jagrans that are held in the north of India, where you have Ma Durga or Ma Kali, Shama Kali. I believe in the Dasham Mahavidya. I do the Tantra Sadhana. You know, the Parvati Ma has the roop. You know, Shiv Shakti. Shiv is Shiva, Lord Shiva and Shakti. So I do this Dasham Mahavidya, Shama, Tarani, Shokshi, Bhuvneshwari, Bhairavi, Chinmastika, Dhumavati, Bagala, Mantaki, Turpada Sundari. So these are the 10 basically Dasham Mahavidya. In English you have only north and south, east and west. But we have so many konas, Agni Kon, Jal Kon, Vayu Kon. The kones are there. So there are 10 various dishas, directions you have. So I do that. So it is like when you have one of these jagrans at night, when people come and the Devi bhajan starts, and somebody say, oh, he's been possessed by a Devi, possessed by Durga, Ma Durga or somebody, you know, that guy goes mad. I think that day I was possessed. And I went mad. So it was thanks to my Kul Devi, Mahamaya. I'm grateful to her that she gave me the strength to fight for my country. So I fought for the Aan, Baan, Shan, Man, Maryada of my country. That also against Pakistan. That was the most pleasurable part about it.
And your home ground also.
Home ground, yes.
Yeah. And you had a difference of opinion as far as IPL is concerned. Now IPL has evolved into a gigantic, presence, even surpassing this Test cricket and even one day.
That was the only objection I had about IPL. That IPL will kill the tradition of cricket. Although I was a one-day player, mostly considered a one-day player. But the cradle, the primary of cricket is Test cricket. Because in 5 days, you see ups and downs. You are up, 100 for no loss at lunch, suddenly 3 wickets down, so you become wary. Bowling side, 100 for no loss, they're down the dump, suddenly they come back, pick up 3 wickets, completely the game changes. It's a game of glorious uncertainties. In 2020 over, it's like 2-minute noodle, right? It's tasty, but it's not sumptuous. It fills your stomach, but it doesn't have the proteins that you need. Same way, Test cricket gives you protein, gives you roughage, gives you everything that you want. And that's the unfortunate part, that is going down. And that is the reason why I had this objection for IPL. And if you remember, at those times, these rave parties were happening and the match fixing was happening and all the other things were happening, which obviously was going out of control.
Yeah, right.
So I felt bad being a cricketer, that it shouldn't happen. And that was my objection to IPL.
Now, how do you rate the Indian team now, the present Indian team, Virat Kohli and others?
Virat undoubtedly is one of the best batsmen. He was till a couple of years after the COVID thing, he got that, but he still, you can't, form is temporary and class is permanent. But then you have a Steve Smith, you have a Kane Williamson, they are great players.
Yes.
And in the present day scenario, I would say Kane Williamson would be first, Smith would be second, and Kohli would be third. But overall, if you ask me, I think nothing to beat Kohli. Not because he's an Indian and I'm an Indian, just because he is one of the best chasers. Nobody in the world has a better record winning while chasing than Virat Kohli.
Right. What about the new bowlers? I mean, you have Bumrah with an unorthodox.
I don't know whether Bumrah will come back or not, because it's over a year since he's done it. I feel that what the WTC that I saw, you just see the difference in bowling. The Australians and the Indian team. Indians sprayed all over, would give 2 balls on the leg side for a batsman to ease the pressure and hit you for a 4. But the Australians kept to one line on the off stump, just there, driving length, kept nagging you. And your best batsman, the best batting side in the world, couldn't even last a session on the last day. 8 wickets fell in 2 hours when we were chasing in the 4th innings. Just look at the line. We just didn't bowl to a good line. That's the unfortunate part about it. And why didn't Ashwin play is a big question. I know it's very easy to be wise after the event. But Ashwin, the best bowler in the world, doesn't get a place in the side. You have a Shardul Thakur, who was where was Hardik Pandya? He should have come in for one-off test. It was a WTC championship. You're going to be the world test champion in the world. Hardik Pandya should have been there for one game. Ashwin should have played in place of Umesh. If you had a Hardik Pandya, you have a Mohammad Shami and a Siraj. 3 real good quicks. Hardik is a good all-rounder, is a superb batsman. And even Ravindra Jadeja and Ashwin has got 4 or 5 test hundreds. How could you? First day you see it's cloudy, you give them to bat. You should have batted first.
No, there have been a little bit criticism from players and even politicians in Kerala that Sanju Samson is not being considered.
There are quite a few good guys who should be considered. Sanju Samson is one, yes, no doubt about that. We have a Tejasvi, one guy is coming up. Unfortunately, Iyer got injured, right? So you have a lot of, where was Arshdeep and Unadkat? On a situation where the ball swings in England, you should have somebody who can genuinely swing the ball. Siraj is good in patches. Shami is a good regular bowler, but I don't know why did he lose his line. Shardul is not that quick to really make an impression. And Umesh will give you 2 bat balls. For me, a few years ago, he was the best bowler. If only he could control his line and length. He was quick. Now he's compromised on his speed for his line and length, and unfortunately he gets hit for 2 fours every time he goes down the leg in an over.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Most
sir.
welcome.
Thank
It was a pleasure speaking to you.
Thank you, sir.